Welcome back, guys, and today in this video what we are going to be doing is we are going over if you should summon and when you should summon. So, right off the bat, should you summon? That's kind of a tricky question. Ironically, Endgame is leaning more towards summoning on this 2 times, and we'll speak on that here shortly. Early game, if you don't have a whole lot of AoE, you're probably going to want to summon for Anora. And the other thing with that is, Anora, she is guaranteed after 250. These guys, they are not. They have a rate increase, but they're not guaranteed. So you could summon and summon and summon and just keep on getting off banner legendaries. It's a thing that happens. It's all a roll of a dice. Just because there's 15 more of Lucius in the pool, he covers 15 more spots on the die just got bigger. So you could still just not roll him. So let's go over Anora's kit real quick. She's a summoner. She looks really cool. Staff of hands with a face. Yeah, it's a little weird, but yeah, sure. Wings coming out of her tailbone. Interesting place for it. Barely anything on. She looks cool. She is a summoner. When she's deployed, she summons Labor. Labor inherits 100% of her stats, and each hit deals 90% AoE magic damage to up to 8 enemies. That's great. She also attacks and does up to 90%, up to 100% with skill ups, and Labor goes up to also 100% with skill ups. Her ultimate deals massive damage and then increases Labor's damage by a lot for 20 seconds. Passive, when attacking, Labor has a chance to generate noxious breath. It's an AoE dot damage. Nothing huge, but extra dot damage is nice. That's a 10% chance to trigger, and there's no cooldown on it, so you could trigger it 5 times in a row. Be cool, but it's highly unlikely. When you do her ultimate, it's triggered automatically. And then this passive, when on the battlefield, increases the attack of Labor by 10% and grants damage increase to other allied summons. 10% increase for other allied summons. That's great. Now, the problem is that she has is this right here. Wait, where is it? This passive right here on her talent. Sanctity. Or Sanctity? Something like that. Immune to most debuffs and buffs. So she can't be given rage regen, she can't be given attack bonus, she can't be given a lot of that. So she's gonna fall behind on a lot of people. Now, she's also doing double, quote unquote, double the damage as most other people because she's got somebody else doing damage with her. So that's one thing. She's got really good stats. Almost 5k attack. That's great. She's got a slow interval, but that makes sense. Cut this interval in half, and technically that's what you're doing, damage-wise, because you have her attacking and Labor attacking. So it makes sense for this to be 3.5, because in that sense, you're looking at like a 1.75 or something like that. And that's about average when you put skill, or put attack speed on it. So she's really good. However, endgame, there's not really a use for her. Like, I don't really have anywhere in particular I'm going to use her. And, little spoiler alert, I am going to pull for her. Because, you know, it's a limited time. She may have use in the future, she may not. Who knows? But I also want to get her. So, next up is, should you summon on this? And I'll kind of come back to it. In my opinion, early game, you should summon for Anora if you can guarantee her. If you can't guarantee her, there's no guarantee getting her previous. And yes, she is technically rated up on her banner, but if you can't guarantee a legendary or that 250, I wouldn't recommend summoning for her. If you can guarantee it and you need an AoE magic damage dealer, summon for her. 100%, she's going to be a huge boost for your account. Now, if you can't guarantee a legendary, I think this might be your best place to summon. Only because you have a 2 times and a 15 times. So, this is probably the best place to summon in that sense. 1, Boreas, huge progression, also AoE magic damage dealer. So if you get him, great. He could be pretty much a replacement for Anora in most places that Anora can be used. Boreas, he could be a 1-for-1 replacement for Anora, in my opinion. They are both AoE damage dealers. Now, Boreas does it a little bit less because he does single target damage, but his ultimate is AoE and his passive. Let's see, what is it? This one, Frozen Purification. He does wide range, and he does this fairly often. And this is huge damage. I use him in Gear Raid 2. I use him in Gear Raid 1. I think I even have him in my Gear Raid 3 team just for the freeze, just to give me a little bit extra time. He's great in a lot of places. However, he is being phased out of a lot of endgame places. He's pretty much useless in Gear Dungeons. He's not really any good in Guild Boss. Guild Boss 2, he can be used for freeze, but there's better people to do that. There's not a whole lot of endgame uses for him. Ares, I don't know a whole lot about him. He seems pretty decent. He's a nightmare fighter, high HP. Let's see. Yeah, high HP. And he does defense reduction. Cool. Let's see how much that is. 20%. Great. And vulnerability. So he has a chance of giving good debuffs to the enemy to give you more damage. Cool. And he looks cool. I mean, well, let's be honest. He's just he's like Torador's little brother. Actually, I'm kind of curious now. I don't see anything about Torador here. Wow, the lore in these. Oh wait, Ares knew at once he must recruit Torador's help to end the suffering of their kind and reclaim his son. Okay, so he recruited Torador? Sure, okay, whatever. But now to the prize, in my opinion, of this banner. Lucius. 1, he looks cool. End of the day, he's a cowboy, a holy cowboy, possessed holy cowboy with a holy crossbow. He's cool. End of the day, if you want to just pull for him because he's cool looking, go for it. That's cool. But 1, he does some good damage. 2, this talent right here, after every basic attack landed, there's a 25% chance to launch a pursuit with his crossbow, dealing 80% damage every 2 pursuits inflicted. Every 2 pursuits triggered inflicts the hero with 1 stack of damnation. When damnation reaches 5 stacks, the hero triggers Demonic Embrace and clears his rage. Increases his damage by 200%, reduces the attack interval by 30%, and each basic attack is guaranteed to trigger a pursuit. During the effect, the cannot activate the ultimate, restore rage, or be inflicted with damnation. So that's great. Now, during the effect of Demonic Embrace, every attack ignores 20% defense and increases single target damage by 20%. Demonic Embrace is this, so he's just getting massive boosts of damage. Crack Shot. When attacking elites or bosses, trigger chances of the pursuits increases by 10%, and basic attacks restore an extra 8 rage. Great, he's getting more rage. He could get this off more often, and he has more chances to get demonic embrace. Now, let's see. So, then we go to his ultimate, which he has a high chance of getting his ultimate pretty quick. 8 rage every basic attack restores 8 rage. He only needs 900, goes down to 800. Loads the weapon with Sanctified Bolts, increases damage by 20% for 20 seconds. Basic attacks and pursuits deal an extra 100% damage one time. First 4 pursuits dispels 1 buff from the target upon hit. That's huge. So each of the first 4 pursuits, from what I'm reading here, dispels a buff. This is unique to him. He is the only one that can dispel buffs so far in the game. When activated, dispels all damnations inflicted, and the hero won't be inflicted with damnation during the ultimate. Now, why is this good? Guild Boss 2. Phase 2, which I've just put a video out on, all the phases, but Phase 2 specifically, is where he's going to shine. He will dispel the increased defense that the boss puts on himself. That kills a lot of the need for true damage. True damage is still good, but that helps. 3742 attack, great. Decent HP and 2-second interval. So that's solid. Solid stats right there. Let's see. And his range is the normal marksman range. Now, the only downside of him is he's a watcher. He's only a watcher. Before we go into that, increases pursuit damage by 25% for A1, attack up for A2. A3 is huge for him. During the ultimate, pursuits inflict stun, so that makes him good for phase 1, and damage reduction. Also good for phase 1. Good for all the phases, because, you know, less damage coming in is great. A2 or A4, all damage increase, cool. And this one, it just increases his damage, and it's a stacking increase of damage. That's great. A3 is really his time to shine there for Guild Boss 2. But all in all, without awakening him, just getting him, he's huge for Guild Boss 2. He will help a ton of people progress farther. Now, should you summon for this? If you are struggling with Guild Boss 2, and that is pretty much the last bit of content you need to push, I'd say yes. Right now, if the only place you're struggling is Guild Boss 2, pull for him. 100%. You may not get him, but this is your best chance to get him. If you are struggling with Gear Raid 1, or I imagine she could be the damage dealer for Gear Raid 2, definitely pull her. She could probably even manage in Gear Dungeon 1. So if you need those areas, pull for Anora. Now, let's get to Saturday. Should you pull for Valderon and Ymir? If you have Valderon, as hard as it's going to say, because I just recently got Valderon, I would say skip this, because Praetus is, I believe, coming next week. Praetus, 100% better than Valderon. Praetus is looked at as the best unit in the game, and for good reason. Valderon, he is very good. I haven't leveled him up yet. I want to, but I'm waiting for the champion, or the Corridor of Glory. Yeah, this to start tomorrow. But Praetus will just push you farther at Guild Boss 2. End of the day. Ymir, he is also very good, and he's got a bond skill with Anora. That is why I want to pull for them, but I am going to skip this banner. Now, what's my recommendation for you guys? My recommendation is, if you have the summons to kind of play with it, try to manipulate your pity a little bit. Do summons on here till you get close to pity, or until you are like, okay, I'm close to a legendary. Switch over to this. Don't pull on this to the point where you can't get your guaranteed. But switch over, try and pull your legendaries on this banner, and then switch back right after you pull legendary, and keep this as close as possible to 250. Because you could be at 249 pulls on this banner. If you haven't gotten a Nora, the 250 pull will be a Nora. So if you get to 259 or 249 and you have the summons to spare, switch over to this banner, pull legendary, and once you pull a legendary, then switch back to this, pull your one summon, get your pity, or get your legendary on a fresh pity, and it will reset your pity again. And then if you want to run back into it, go back into this and summon some more fresh. But I would fully recommend, if you have the summons, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to summon on Friday. I'm going to summon on Friday. I'm going to summon on here until I get close to my pity. And then I'm going to summon on here, reset my pity, and then pull a Nora. Now, I have a good bit of summons saved up. We can look at this. I have 136, which, let me pull up my calculator here. 136, and I have 23k diamonds, so 23,863 divide by 880, so that's 27 pulls, or so 270 plus 136. I have 406 pulls right now, so I can just about go to 2 full pities by Friday. Hopefully I can. I am 30 into my pity, so I should be able to pull up to around 200 on Anora's banner. That would put me at 230. No, I'd have to pull to like 180 on there. That'd put me at about 200 summons into my pity. If I don't pull one, I'll switch over to the other banner, pull there till I pull a legendary, and then switch back to Anora. I am also going to be using my divines on trying for Lucius, because I feel like he's probably the prize of this set. So would I summon, or summoning for Ymir and Valderon, I can understand. If you really like Valderon, or you really want Ymir for the bond skill, go for it. But end of the day, there's no guarantee you would get either one of these. You could pull a Praetus this weekend. That'd be great, but if you're hoping for one of these guys, it hurt a little bit. So, end of the day, I recommend trying to get everybody you can, but Anora is guaranteed. So, if you could only do 250 summons, and that's all you have, period, I'd say go for Anora. Because even if you're endgame, there's no real place to use her, but I'm sure there will be. It's a lot like Dahlia. Dahlia, there's still not a whole lot of places to use her, and I haven't done a whole lot with her, but she's good to have, just in case. I still want to test her out in Guild Boss 2. There's a lot of places where she could be really good. I just haven't tested her, and I want to see. So, to end it all out, should you summon? Yes. When should you summon? I'd say Friday. And, if possible, try to summon on Anora's banner to get close to your pity and get closer to that guaranteed. And when you get close to your pity, switch over to the Boreas Lucius banner, pull that till you get a legendary, and then switch back, get your Anora. That's my recommendation for this weekend. Take it or leave it. I mean, end of the day, what you do with your summons is 100% up to you. That's what I'm going to be doing this weekend, and I'm probably going to pull everything I have. Lucius is just too good to pass up. The only thing I'm going to be saving is my, let's see, my 68 ancient summons, which that's a lot more than I thought I was going to have. Cool. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to be saving that for Praetus. As much as it hurts to say. But I can't really complain too much, considering I have this guy here who is just waiting. And as soon as I level him up, I'm going to throw him into a guild boss team and see if I can make a Piercer chaotic guild boss team to push 50k. I'm sure I can, but that's going to be a video for another day. So I'd recommend summoning on Friday, like I said, and if you do summon, good luck. If you don't, let me know what you're saving for, because I'm curious. If you know of something that's coming in the future, definitely let me know. If it's worth it, maybe I'll save too. But I'm almost definitely pulling this weekend, and I will have a video on that probably coming out Saturday. So until then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.